Hey everyone, you're watching Ash on Comics. I'm Ash, and here's a comic, and I'm experimenting with my first ever handheld review. I normally have a little camera mount that I use, pretty convenient, but not using that today. We'll see how it goes. I can do it Zach style. Challengers number 4. I've been following this series, been reviewing it. Sorry if you hear the noises, dogs going in and out the dog door. This is number 4. I've been kind of on the fence about this title. I've been seeing the potential of it and waiting it out. There have been good things about it. There have been some bad things about it. Last issue kind of raised the bar a little bit, if that's a good description. The first 2 issues were really just like, what's going on? And then the third issue started showing, oh, okay, we got some plot that we can see and something to follow, and it made it a lot more interesting. So I've been kind of looking forward to this issue, and let's see what I thought. So first thing I want to cover on this is, you're going to notice over here, no more Kubert, which has been kind of the, how do you say, the hallmark of these New Age of Heroes. They've been putting on these famous artists and yanking them after 2 or 3 books. It's been a big complaint by a lot of the people who have, got into these, and they feel like there was some bait and switch, and they're not really wrong to think that. I still think the books, you shouldn't get a book just because a great artist is on it. I know that sounds weird, I'll pretty much, if Jim Lee said I'm doing a new series tomorrow and he was really going to be on it, I would just buy it because he's on it. But a lot of books need a chance without great artists. There's just not that many great artists to go around. So here we got a new artist, and the problem is it's a big step down. In the world of comic book art, you have 2 things that really define the art in a book, or what the artist, its purpose. One is it needs to look appealing. There's the aesthetic of it, right? So some artists are just going to grab your eye. You're just going to say, wow, I just love the way they illustrate. And that's a very subjective reaction. And some artists are just flat out better illustrators than other artists. The other thing that is important in the world of comic book art is not just how well you illustrate, but your ability to tell a visual story. This is often just called layouts, but I think it's even more than layouts. Layouts is kind of how you compose a page and the paneling, which is important for utilizing real estate and helping the narrative flow. But also, it's sort of like the cinematographer's job in a film. The comic book artist has to visually move your eye around and give you a cinematic feel. Even though it's still pages, your mind fills in the blanks. Anyways, you guys all know this. I'm just preaching to the choir. So this book starts off kind of where it left off. They're in, I forget the area they're in, but they're in this Savage Land type place. They're on the mission against the unknown, and they got these dinosaur riding undead zombies they're fighting. I like the way the last book kind of introduced this. I like where this book kind of goes with it. We get quite a long battle. People have complained about some of these New Age books being, how do I say, just kind of boring, like not a lot happening. In this book, you cannot complain on that aspect. This book is all about the action. We get a nice gory scene here, ripping a raptor's face off. And we start to see the Challengers' powers sort of emerge, which is interesting. Because before, they're just like, okay, 4 guys in jumpsuits, or girls too, but you know what I mean. And who are they? Like, what can they do? It's very you can only keep me interested for so long until I just like, okay, I don't even care about these people anymore. So over each issue, we were getting, last issue we got kind of his background, Crunch. And as we start to learn who they are as people, they become more interesting, but we still didn't really understand their powers. You could kind of guess that he was a meat shield, sort of heavy hitter. But who are these other people? Well, apparently this girl, Bethany, her ability is avoiding death. Whenever she gets in a situation where death would take her, it takes someone instead. So it's pretty horrific, but because people she loves anyone around her tend to die. But it's an interesting kind of power, that this idea of that she can cheat death constantly. They don't really kind of explain, though, how she didn't cheat death to become a challenger. But anyways, so, they're fighting, and we got Moses saying, she's like, Trina, I need help. You mean to leave this to me? Maybe you haven't noticed, but I don't have a knack for this. Not like you all seem. And he's just ripping his head off. And it's like, okay, so these guys are getting powers that they didn't even know they had through becoming challengers. Now, keep in mind, some of you know the whole backstory of the old school challengers. I never knew about them until this book came out. So I'm very much a noob as far as the history and the backstory. So they're fighting, and they realize, okay, crap, we're running out of time. We got to get our mission completed, but what are we going to do? And then we get a backstory now of Bethany, the last remaining challenger whose story hasn't been told. And she was in Afghanistan, and she broke free from being prisoners. And you got American soldiers like, what the hell, Bethany, you're back? And this is all kind of introducing her ability to cheat death. Then we go back to the present, and Crunch has decided to put on some of that armor, and he makes a little gladiator joke about not being entertained. Then we get more flashback to kind of show Bethany how she got away, and we have some inner monologue about what I've described to you about her power. Obviously, she's got a little bit of PTSD. When they wake her up in the present day, she's like, ready to kill. It's like, whoa, we're your friends. So they realize, okay, we got to get going. How are we going to get to our destination, which is this castle over here? Oh, I guess we're going to fly with some pterodactyls, which I don't think would actually really be able to happen, but it's a comic book. So we got the Unknown on top of the mountain. They got their big-ass power artifact here. And their leader guy who killed Prof is talking through this portal to them, giving them commands, saying basically the challengers are not important anymore. You go ahead and kill them. We got what we need. And then Crunch shows up, jumps off his pterodactyl, and says you're going to be disappointed. And the big battle starts. We get some more fun as the challengers fight these mummies. The unknown guys, I don't know what else to call them. So this isn't really important as far as, if you want to read the book, I encourage you to. It's fun. The main leader kind of says to them, you don't understand the powers you're dealing with, the power inside you. And so let me show you. And he creates this construct out of thin air for them to fight. Bethany is using her powers to do some things. And now this is where I need to pause a little bit because about the art. Now, as far as a fill-in artist, like for Andy Cooper, I think this guy's style visually matches pretty well. The problem is he's not a good visual storyteller. And when this whole sequence was happening, I'm pretty sure the author was relying on the visuals to tell the story. And it's just confusing. I mean, I can understand some little bits like, okay, this thing's swiping at you and you're dodging. Okay. But what is this thing in the background? And, she says, thanks for the suggestion, Moses. And she reaches up and it's towards the artifact that's causing all this to go on. This monster thing forms. but who's forming? I don't understand what's really happening. She's now standing in front of it like she's controlling it. It looks like it's attacking the mummy guys, the unknown. It's really hard to tell what's happening. I know there's a lot of action going on, but it's just so chaotic and confusing. And this is not good storytelling. I need to know. And if your art if you're not able to do this through the art, then there needs to be narrative bubbles describing what's happening. That can sometimes be a crutch in comic books. And I know some people say, oh, I don't want to see that. But that has to happen. One of the two, I wouldn't have mind having some narrative. I mean, you're using it for other things, like the center monologue. Say, like, oh, she did this and da-da-da, and then this happened. I was very confused. So then we go back to another flashback at a different time where she's with her husband, as she's recently got out of the military. They're trying to plan a life together. Green Arrow shows up. He's fighting some criminals. And then we go back to the action. And I kind of like how they do this. Kind of like, oh, hey, here's normal life. And then back to present day. And so they're fighting. And again, okay, so this guy, he's got the artifact. He's using it to cause some power, shoot some lightning. Okay, zap. Then they're all down. I can't take any more of this. Oh, shit, we're running out of time. We got to get back. And here's Bethany just realizing, Grandma always said the past is the best predictor. But we're so far past normal. Maybe that doesn't apply here. Maybe I can keep them all safe this time. Take us home. And see bad guy holding the artifact. Wom wom. And a bunch of zigzaggy line things. What's going on? I don't know. That was rash. Stupid. Don't worry. They're about to find out. There's nothing for them to go back to. So, back to present day. Flashback. Green Arrow's fighting these, thugs or whatever. One of them volleys off his shot, and loved one gets it. Tragic death. So, she's a fighter or whatever, so she gets a gun, starts beating up these guys, shooting, killing them. And I guess this is how she met her end. She's about to confront Green Arrow, which was kind of cool, and he's just basically going like, no, I'm just trying to tell you, hey, you need to lie down. So she dies. Back to the current storyline, they get back to the mountain. Everything's all on fire, destroyed, and they're like, wait a second, what's going on? They realize that their time is not reverting, so they're still losing time. They don't know where Prof is until this person comes out of the shadows. Prof, is that you? That doesn't look like Prof. Bethany. And lo and behold, it's Bethany. And she's, why am I here? And she looks like she's been zombified. Obviously, this is probably the work of the unknown with what the powers that they're doing. And it'll be interesting to see how they have to fight this person if she has the same powers as Bethany. And that's it. Next issue, The Secret and Death, Defying Origin of the Prof. So, all in all, I'm enjoying this book. I was really let down, not by the visual quality of the art. I mean, it looks fine on an aesthetic level, but the storytelling, this artist does not know how to visually tell a story, and it was so confusing. But I was enjoying it. It's a high adventure book. I liked, the Savage Lands sort of equation area, wherever they were. They're fighting off, zombies and dinosaurs. It's not your typical DC, wheelhouse storyline, which is great because you have plenty. If you want your Superman and your Batman, your Justice League, you've got a plethora of that. You've got so much. It's just DC's barfing out that same sort of content that they just do over and over. It's nice for them to go in different directions and have different type of comics. And this one's fun. It's not a home run. It's not, anything that you're going to write home about, but it's good, fun comics. There's nothing egregiously bad. There's nitpicky stuff, like I said, with the art, but it doesn't ruin the book. And so I would give this, I'd say this is about a 3-star out of, I do a 5-star rating. 1 being just terrible trash, avoid all costs. 5 being Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen. 4 being really good stuff. 3 being your average. It's passable, worth buying. 2 is not good. But sometimes you're going to get those in the middle of a run. So 3 is fine. Anyways, if this is something that you've been following me on these, it is good enough to recommend if it's in your wheelhouse. And I like to see where the story is going. Like I said, the positives is different, and it's going in. You don't know where it's going to go. It's not predictable. So I like that. It keeps me wanting to know. Okay, next issue, what's going to happen? So if that's something that you're into, pick it up. It's only $2.99. These New Age of Heroes books should be supported. I haven't read a single one that is just bad. These are all good, solid $2.99 books. So move the needle. If it is something you pick up, please comment. You can find me on Twitter, Ash1138. Let me know that you picked it up. My recommendations. If you have recommendations for me, please also comment. Tell me what I should be doing. There's a few books that I'm losing, like both the Green Lanterns are getting canceled, so I need to fill those holes. I'm probably going to be canceling Superman's. So those are holes. So I kind of need to find new things. I like to always hear what other people are buying, what they like, why they like it. So hope you found something worthwhile in this video, and I hope to see you again. Thanks for watching.